is a French luxury goods company, and you've just told me that it was the company that sold Conforama to Steinhoff.
Yeah, exactly. So the Pinault family is the controlling founder family here, but it sort of transitioned itself, as many of these groups do, from electrical goods and all sorts of things, Conforama, and it's in luxury goods, and its core business is Gucci, but it also owns things like Puma and some clothing brands, Stella McCartney and so on as well.
And the market cap here, 24 billion euros. It's got a PE of 35.4 and a dividend yield of 2.6%.
Bottega Veneta is in fact a quarter of Kering's luxury goods sales. Obviously, Gucci is, I guess, a lot bigger than that, but they do have a lot of the smaller brands that you've just mentioned now.
And interesting, that activewear involvement. So they got into Puma, and they're about 60% shareholder of Puma, and then they also own a brand called Volcom, which is kind of like a sports action sports brand.
There's a whole debate about Puma that's been going on for a long time, because there's a belief that Pinault wants to sell Puma, but he continues to deny that. So Puma is still part of the group, and they still control it.
So this kind of got like a Playboy CEO.
Share graph up there, a Playboy CEO.
Well, that's Francois Henri Pinault, whose wife is Salma Hayek, I always point out. But I mean, the group got rebranded, right, and repositioned in 2013. And I think its core is doing well. I mean, as Syd said earlier, Gucci has done well. Its sales have been strong. And part of that is about protecting the brand, as he said, but part about it is just having good designers that get it right.
Yeah.
That share price graph was not a bad looking one in terms of the recovery that we've seen of late.
The share price has gone berserk, probably because of the strong profitability and the recovery. But of course, the price earnings ratio has also gone berserk. When I looked it up, I think it's currently a shade under 35 times. Now that to me is, if I can get other stuff on much lower PEs, I probably prefer to look at it. I just think that when we get to those stratospheric levels, you need expectations of phenomenal growth in earnings to justify it going forward.
Do you think it can meet those expectations of
again,
phenomenal
being
earnings?
As it's got quite a substantial, multi-capital European presence in terms of its stores. What it really needs is more tourists, because people spend on average apparently 30% more than they do when they're not traveling. It's just because your brain...
This tourism underpin is really significant
to
the luxury
of
goods
course,
industry.
It's in those kinds of stores which are created as people travel in order to take advantage of that. So I think it can, yes.
We've got to call it hot or not, Kering?
To me, it's not hot simply because I don't like the PE. But I do like, despite that, I do like what they're doing with their product. And it just, what they're doing simply highlights the importance of product in the luxury goods business environment.
Remember, it's got lots of clothing relative to, and handbags and those sorts of things relative to watches. I mean, it does own Boucheron and Bedat in Key, which I don't really know as watch brands.
Those are small brands.
So that's not as big a concern.
Boucheron's been around a long time.
I think the big underpin here is actually Salma Hayek. You should use her for more advertising campaigns.
I think they do.
Anyway,
Excellent.
so you're calling it hot or not?
I'm going to go hot on this
one. You're going to go hot?
Syd is anxious about the
Syd is anxious, it's too expensive, but you like the business and where they're going.